Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AOS-CX 10.09 Transfer of Information series. My name is Yash. I work for Aruba as Technical Marketing Engineer. Today, I'm going to discuss and help you to understand AOS-CX 8360 is getting enabled with port access security features and also port security features. As you guys know, 8360 switch series is a family of premium enterprise switches. It is ideally positioned for data center and campus aggregation and core places. With that, let's go get started on port access security and port security feature enablement on AOS-CX 8360 platform. To enable zero trust infrastructure, what is required is all your devices and users need to be authenticated before they get onto a network. Remember, it is not only authenticating users or devices, it's important. It is so important to authenticate the switches which are getting connected to the network. To authenticate those access switches, we need an authenticator or a port access security features on aggregation and core platforms like Aruba AOS-CX 8360. With that, we are understanding zero trust infrastructure is so important for our customer deployment. Hence, we are bringing AOS-CX 8360 platform is getting enabled with port access security features and also port security features. Before we get deep dive into port access security and port security feature, it is good to understand all the classification of security features which we support on AOS-CX platform. To secure our customer network, we support all required security features on AOS-CX switches. Broadly, they have been classified as 5 types as you see on the screen. One, management security features like TechAx, Radius to access the AOS-CX switches. These features are very important and they are supported on all AOS-CX switches. Network defense security features like DHCP, ND snooping. These features are so important on your access layer. Hence, these features are currently supported on AOS-CX 6000 and AOS-CX 4100i switches. Port security and port access security also becomes so important on access layer switches. So currently, if you look at it, these features are supported from 10.04 release on access switches. Now, we are bringing this port access security features like MAC authentication, .1x authentication, LUR, DUR, these features now we are enabling on aggregation and core platform 8360. And also we are enabling port security features. ACLs and classifiers are supported across the AOS-CX switches. With that, let's understand what is coming on 8360 and how the real deployment can get benefit out of this. As you see on your left hand side of the screen, all clients like users, devices like access point, desktop, or phones, these are all getting authenticated either using MACauth or by .1x if they are capable. Those devices, if they are capable of .1x, they get connected to an access switch. Then the access switch work like a .1x authenticator. Before you onboard this client, it is 100% we have to make sure the access switches are secure. To bring that functionality, you need an authenticator or a port access security feature on your aggregation and a core. Means if you see your access layer currently is not getting authenticated by your core or aggregation switches. For that reason, 8360 is a premium enterprise class core and aggregation switch is getting enabled with port access security and port security features where you can authenticate your access layer switches. Before you authenticate the clients, which are on your left hand side, the clients means users and devices, you want to make sure you authenticate and bring the right secure access layer. For that reason, we are bringing up this port access security and port security features on aggregation and core layer of enterprise deployment or in your data center deployment. So if you look at here, these clients, which are, if you can see in the above diagram, the access switch, one of the access switch is 1/1/48 can get connected either if it is capable of using the .1x or if it is the switch is unmanaged switch and if it is not capable of running the .1x supplicant, then it can be authenticated using the MAC auth. So the MAC auth, you can use the system AOS-CX. If you are using AOS-CX access switch, it supports both. You can either use a MAC auth as an access switch to authenticate, or now with 10.09, your access switches are getting enabled with a .1x supplicant. That means AOS-CX switches, the access layer switches, can run .1x supplicant on them. The uplink can easily make use of the .1x supplicant to authenticate the access switch by connecting to a 8360 aggregation or core. That way, you are authenticating the access layer. So then your access layer becomes secure. Once your access layer is secure, then you can onboard the clients, either your desktop or laptops or access points from your branch or a campus. Okay. Hope this is clear to you. That is the reason we are bringing 8360 is getting enabled with port access security and port security features. Let us see how this is going to be get benefited in 2-tier and 3-tier architecture in case of a campus. For every customer deployment, there is exact match with the AOS-CX switches. Whether it is a branch, campus or data center, we have right AOS-CX switches. As you see on this screen, for all branch deployment, the first column as you see on the screen, 4100i, 6000, 6100 and 6200 are the right platform which we always suggest to deploy in a branch. Or if you take a campus access layer, starting from all the way from the 6200, it goes via till the 6400 modular chassis switch. So these switches get connected to a, as you know, to an aggregation or a core. Whether it is a traditional model of a 2-tier architecture or a 3-tier architecture or the newest architecture with the VXLAN based, we have the right switches. So when these access switches get connected to an aggregation or a core layer, those aggregation and core layer need to have port access security and a port security features enabled. By having those security features enabled on aggregation and core, you can make sure your access switches are secure. So that's where we are bringing up port access security and port security feature on our aggregation and core platform in this release with 8360. As per the deployment, we are enabling right and required features on 8360, where in case of all the port access security and port security features are supported on access layer switches are not getting enabled on aggregation and core as they are not required on your aggregation and core switcher like 8360. So what is getting enabled on 8360? Let us take a closer look on each of these rows. As you see on this screen, 8360 switches are getting enabled with .1x, MD5 as well as TLS fragmentation. Both .1x authentication is getting enabled on 8360. That means you can have .1x with MD5 user, you can have a username and a password configured, or you can also have a TLS mechanism which you can do on 8360. Another one thing is you can even connect the MAC auth clients to this 8360 and make sure they get authenticated using the MAC address also. That is also getting enabled. So auth precedence and auth priority both comes in the way. So because auth precedence, as you guys know, the highest auth authentication mechanism today available is .1x, and then it falls back to MAC auth. Same thing happens on 8360 also as on the other platform. Auth priority is getting enabled where in case you download a supplicant with a MAC auth, a supplicant is downloaded, and then if it wants to try for a .1x, auth priority becomes a very wonderful feature. If you're not aware of the auth precedent and auth priority or the concurrent onboarding, please watch my 10.6 series, TOI series, where I've explained in detail the concurrent onboarding as well as auth precedence and auth priority features. So if you go back to the special roles, all type of special roles, critical role, pre-auth role, and many other special roles are getting enabled on 8360. Apart from that, LUR and DUR becomes a very important factor when you are doing a port access security, and those are all getting enabled. Next is the radius, which is very important as the switch is going to work as an authenticator. It has to take the access request and send it to a AAA server and also do an accounting. So for that reason, AAA is also getting enabled with radius features on 8360 platform. MAC lockdown, MAC lockout, these are all very important if you look at it from a port security feature angle, and those are also getting enabled on the 8360. So as you see on the left hand side, most of the features are getting enabled on 8360. What is not getting enabled is something which is not required on aggregation and core platform like captive portal or UBT. Remember, UBT is not required on aggregation or a core platform because you're authenticating an access switch. Because of that reason, we are not enabling the UBT or the captive portal use cases on 8360 platform. ND snooping, RA guard, IP lockdown, these are all very important feature in access layer switches than in the aggregation core. The main key thing for an aggregation or a core switch is to authenticate the access switches. For that reason, we are enabling these features. If you find a use case, for an IP client tracker or IP client tracker for UBT clients on the aggregation or core, please come back and write to us. We should be able to enable this because these features are already exist on AOS-CX platform on an access layer switches. So enabling on 8360 will not be such a big deal, isn't it? So as you know, on the third column, these are already supported on all AOS-CX switches. Local user management, radius, TechAX, which I was talking about as a management security features, these features are already supported. So they come already enabled with 8360 also. With that, let's see a small demo on 8360, which is going to be working as an authenticator where it will onboard the access switch securely and then allow the clients to come in to that access switch. That's what the demo flow would be. Let's get started on the demo. Before we get on to a demonstration, it is good to understand the network topology so that you will be clear where the AOS-CX 8360 is getting enabled with port access security and port security features. Let us look at the topology for a minute. As you see on this screen, this is where you will see your all clients like access point and a phone. What I have is also in the similar way. We have a one access point and a phone which is getting connected to an unmanaged switch currently. For a time being, let us take an unmanaged switch. And then we can also see if we have a AOS-CX access layer switches and what all the benefit we are going to bring in. Now let us consider this access switch is an unmanaged switch which is getting connected with an access point and a phone. As you see here, this is there is a 1/1/1 which is getting connected to a phone, and I have an access point which is getting connected to 2/1/1. If you have an unmanaged switch, then you may not have a VSF kind of a functionality. But if you deploy our AOS-CX access switches, we do have all the way from VSF 2-member till 10-member stack can be formed on AOS-CX access switches. So that's where here I've connected to a 1/1/1 and also 2/1/1. An access point is connected and an access, you can see there is a phone which is connected on this port. That is on the access layer. Before we onboard these clients, that is this access point and phone, I want to make sure this switch, which is getting authenticated either using the MAC Auth, or if you use our AOS-CX switches on access layer, we do have a functionality called .1x supplicant. That means you can run AOS-CX on the AOS-CX switches, access layer switches, you can run the .1x supplicant. But if you use any other vendor, you may not be able to run the .1x supplicant on those switches because they may not support, and it's an unmanaged switch. So we always recommend to use a managed AOS-CX switch like any of the access switches, all the way from CX4100i, 6000 platform, or 6100, 6200, 6300, 6400 platform. All these platforms have that secure capability, securing your network capability, these access switches brings to you. So it can enable a .1x supplicant on those access switches. So that's what I'm talking about. If you use an unmanaged switch, you have to enable a MAC Auth, then you have to enable, authenticate using the MAC Auth. But you use AOS-CX switch, you can always run the .1x supplicant and make sure your network infrastructure is more secure. These access switches getting connected to a 8360. This is the aggregation or a core switch which is getting connected, and this switch is getting connected to a AAA server. As you know, the best AAA server or best radius server in the industry is the Aruba ClearPass, which you can see on the screen, right? So we are going to use Aruba ClearPass to authenticate first the unmanaged or the access switch, and we are also going to authenticate these clients using our 8360 platform getting connected to Aruba ClearPass. So we have the best in class, as you see here, the access point, best in class, the AOS-CX access switches, and best in class AOS-CX aggregation and core. Along with that, you have a best in class network access control, as you see on this screen, which is Aruba ClearPass. Let us get started on this demonstration and look at how these getting authenticated. As I was talking about a unmanaged switch, you can see here, this is an unmanaged switch, and you can see show MAC address table. I see some of the devices which are connected. Here you can see an access point and a phone is connected on 1/1/1 as well as 2/1/1. Access point is to 2/1/1 and a phone is connected on 1/1/1. This is what I was showing you on the network topology. This is, let us consider for now, it's an unmanaged or any other vendor switch. How are we going to authenticate this one? What we are going to do is the connected port from the access to the aggregation. Let us consider now it is on 1/1/23. So let's go back and look at the diagram 1 second so that we are clear on which interface we have connected. Okay, so 1/1/1 is the interface which is connected on the 8360, where in case of 1/1/23 is on the unmanaged switch. That is the physical connectivity. If you look at it, it is something like this, isn't it? So you have an access switch, you have access switch here, you have the aggregation switch, and it is connected to a AAA server. So this is a AAA server. This switch here is what we are talking about. This interface is 1/1/1, and this interface is 1/23, right? That is what it is saying now. So with that, let's get started. So let me see whether that is what we see here on the screen. 1/1/1. Okay, so now 1/1/1 is trying to authenticate the connected devices on the port, right? So now it is connected to a unmanaged switch. Here, as you see, I've enabled the concurrent authentication that is getting supported on 8360. As you see here, show version. This is the 8360 platform, show system. So I'm using a 48 port 8360. So if you look at it, it's a 10.09 release. That is where these features are getting enabled. Show running, let's go back. Show running interface 1/1/1.
If you're not enabling the concurrent authentication, as I said, please go back and watch my 10.6 presentation. You will understand all of this feature much better. In short, in case if you're not enabling the concurrent authentication on this port, what happens is .1x, even though there is a MAC Auth client getting connected, it will first try for the .1x. That means the MAC Auth client, which is getting connected on 1/1/1, has to wait till the .1x authentication is complete. Then the MAC Auth client will be given access. Where in case of once you enable this parallel authentication or concurrent authentication, what happens is the .1x as well as the MAC Auth, both requests will be sent to the AAA server. If there is a .1x client also, let us consider a scenario where PC behind the phone, where PC is a MAC Auth and a PC is a .1x and a phone is a MAC Auth, both the requests can reach the AAA server and both can get access accept as soon as possible if they are right clients, or if they are wrong clients, they can get access reject as soon as they right. So that is the parallel authentication or a concurrent authentication mechanism. That is feature is also getting enabled on 8360. As you see here, you are going to enable the .1x on this and MAC Auth. Currently, let us consider I'm enabling using the MAC Auth. MAC Auth will use the system MAC because it's an unmanaged switch. Show system will get me the MAC address, that is 883A30. This is what the MAC Auth you see, and I'm going to enable the MAC authentication using this MAC. So now let us see whether that client is onboarded or not. The command to check that one on 8360 follows the same, because the one operating system, that is the bigger benefit. Whether you use features anywhere, you use exactly the same commands. You don't have to remember, oh, aggregation platform, core platform, I need to know the different CLI, different operating system, on an access layer, different CLIs, different operating system. No, we have come up with such an innovative operating system which works same across all the portion of the network, whether it is a data center, whether it is a campus aggregation or core, or it is an access layer. And also remember, even in the branch or even in a ruggedized environment like 4100i, all those platforms runs only one single operating system, that is AOS-CX, right? As you see, the command is same. Show port access client is the command, and let us check whether that is getting enabled. As you see here, this is the port, and the client which is getting connected is 88, which we were seeing the MAC address, and it is getting enabled with the MAC Auth. As you know, MAC Auth is not the so secure mechanism. What we need is .1x is the most secure mechanism. If you use AOS-CX also as your access platform, then you get that advantage of .1x supplicant can be run on those access switches. How do we run that? Let us check that one for a minute. As we were seeing an interface, if this is a AOS-CX switch, if your access switch is a AOS-CX switch, you get this advantage. You can see here on the connected interface on the uplink port, you are going to enable the .1x supplicant, and the configuration required. On another video, I've covered in detail what is the how you can configure the .1x supplicant and what are the advantages. You can watch that video, but in a simple way, in a very short, you need that policy and you are going to attach to that uplink. That's it. Then you can authenticate this access switch. If it is a AOS-CX switch, you can authenticate using .1x client, and then let us watch that one. You need that username, isn't it? So you need for a .1x authentication, you need a username and a password. For a EAP MD5, if it is a EAP TLS, then you can have the certificate based. Both are supported on AOS-CX access switches, right? So, you know, that is the bigger benefit. If you use your whole enterprise access switches, aggregation core, and also data center switches, you don't have to remember any CLI for campus different, access different, data center different. One operating system, same CLIs all across, including your branches. So admin can easily configure any feature with the same CLI, same mindset, and you can manage using the Aruba Central, one single pane of glass, right? So let us look at this one for a minute and how a .1x client is getting authenticated with that username. Show port access, the same command, show port access. Give me 1 second. Show port access, client detail. If you look at it, same switch, I'm now authenticating using the .1x. Let us look at the .1x client, how it is getting enabled. You can see here switch role, which is given a local role. I've given switch role as a .1x, and that is what the username. Let us check whether it is a CXTME. So this is what the CXTME. So I have the username and a password. I'm getting authenticated from Aruba ClearPass. Let us check this one, whether I am getting the Aruba ClearPass authentication or not. Okay, let me log in. Wow, you should be able to see my password too. Here we go. So you know how to watch see the users. Let's get to the monitoring. There is an access tracker. Let's go here and check whether the CXTME is getting enabled, getting access, which access and what all the things he's getting. Okay, I see MacAuth clients. Let's do one thing. Let's do a reauth so that we see the .1x service getting triggered, right? Let's do a reauth. So for that, it's a simple way is we can use a feature called port access. There is a log off feature, you know that? So port off, all clients can be logged off on the interface. Each interface also you can log off, or you want a particular interface, you can do that, or you can do even all the clients also. Role based also you can do a log off. Very interestingly, they have given all of this feature. Very, very important for an admin. Let's take an example. You want to only do a log off for a particular role. For example, HR, you want to do a log off for a period and assign a new role, or you assign a new parameters in that role, and that new parameters has to be downloaded. You want to log off those clients. So how are you going to do that? It's a simple command where AOS-CX will allow all of that operations for you. So let us look at now what's happening on the ClearPass. So ClearPass, here is a ClearPass. So did I get, yeah, you can see here there is a CXTME, and he has reached the ClearPass with an access request. And let us see what he has sent with the access request. Okay, he has sent with the CXTME and all the other parameters. The various attributes have reached the ClearPass. So yeah, it is true. So looks like there is output. Output says LUR PYCX data. So let us look at what is there in that data, what is getting passed. So if you look at it, it is giving a role, Aruba user role, which is getting assigned as switch role.1x. So let us look at now on the AOS-CX switch, is there any switch role.1x? Oh, I see that one, switch role.1x is there. There is nothing in this. I can always configure all the attributes what we provide on the port access security feature, which you can watch in my previous videos. And for, as I was seeing, as you guys know, if it is an unmanaged switch and you want to authenticate using only MacAuth, then what you're going to do is you can see there is another role, switch role MacAuth, which is getting assigned from the ClearPass to the authenticator, which is nothing but the 8360 at this point of time, right? So you can see now that is getting assigned. I do have few clients which are, as I was telling, 1/1/1 on this access switch is connected to one of the phone and also an access point. So I want to authenticate both of those. It is not a problem because it's the unmanaged switch I was telling. You can run just as a L2 switch, and 8360 can do a job of authenticator. But remember, if you use our AOS-CX platform, you can authenticate at the access layer itself, because AOS-CX support, all the access switches support that authenticator functionality on the AOS-CX access layer switches itself. But in case if you use any other vendor access switch, which is an unmanaged switch, then you can use you can take the benefit of 8360 and you can authenticate them at the 8360. So that's what I'm doing now. You can see here, there is a phone which is getting assigned here. So let me just check whether show port access client, and see I'm getting only these phone. Let me see, is the client limit is set properly. So let me try and increase this client limit to more. Maybe 6. Let us skip. This feature is also getting enabled on the 8360. As you see, all port access feature which are required on the aggregation and core is getting enabled. Show port access client. Okay, let's do one more time. This AP is coming on the show MAC address table on the access switch. Let us check that one second. Looks like it is coming. So let's do one thing. Let's do a flap of this interface once, shut and no shut. And now let us check show port access client. Repeat. So now you can see the first was allowed was the switch. These are the switch, right? If it is a unmanaged switch, you can use the MAC auth. If it is a CX switch, the benefit, you can use the .1x supplicant. You saw there is a AP came in and it got authenticated using the AP role. It got assigned, and we have to see the phone which need to come in and you should get authenticated from the clear pass. Okay. So if you see the phone, well, let us check whether the phone is reaching here. The phone was 2C41 4138-7F1051. So let us check that one on the clear pass. 51, is it reaching? Yes, I can see here the 51 is reaching, and it is giving a role output as AP role. Okay, that is fine. Is the phone came in? Looks like the phone also came in. And is it getting the same role? Yeah, it is getting the MAC auth role. So perfect. So I think looks like we have done the how AOS-CX 8360 is getting enabled with port access security features you saw, and all the features, whatever it I shown, are all getting enabled on the 8360, which is required on your aggregation and core platform. But as I'm telling you, if you use end-to-end AOS-CX, you get more benefit and you can secure your network right as required as per the today's deployment. With that, let me stop here. And thank you for listening to me. We are going to keep your network secure with AOS-CX platform. Thank you again.